August 6, 1930. New York City pulses with energy as streetcars clatter and neon signs flicker against the approaching twilight. Amid this urban symphony, one question reverberates through marble courthouses and smoky village parlors alike. Where did Judge Joseph Force Crater go? His name was synonymous with promise, a jurist seemingly destined for greatness. But by night's end, he had vanished in an unsolved disappearance that would haunt the city for generations. Born in rural Virginia in 1889, Joseph Crater embodied the American ideal. He excelled academically at Randolph-Macon College before earning his law degree from the University of Virginia. With a sharp mind and unerring work ethic, he relocated to New York City during the Roaring Twenties, quickly distinguishing himself in private practice. His reputation for impartial rulings and persuasive oratory caught the attention of political leaders. By March 1929, at age 40, Crater secured an appointment to the New York Supreme Court, a meteoric ascent that made him one of the youngest judges ever to don the black robe. Outside the courtroom, Crater led a life of cultivated taste. He married Ruby F. Freeman, a schoolteacher known for her poise and intelligence, in a ceremony that symbolized both partnership and public duty. Colleagues described their marriage as affectionate, yet discreet. Few witnessed any discord. Behind closed doors, whispers spoke of Crater's fondness for late-night gatherings at exclusive speakeasies, a habit at odds with his reputation for decorum. Those same whispers hinted at friendships forged in the saloons of Tammany Hall, where law, politics, and finance collided under the veil of Prohibition-era mystery. On August 6th, Crater dined at the Lafayette restaurant on West 44th Street with Ruby and their close friend, William "Billy" Fallon, a charismatic district leader. They toasted Crater's recent elevation and speculated about his future prospects, including a possible federal judgeship under the incoming Hoover administration. After dessert, the three stepped into the humid summer air. Ruby returned home with their Packard sedan. Crater and Fallon strolled south, exchanging light-hearted banter about pending cases. Fallon suggested a final drink at Chumley's, the storied English pub tucked behind Mercer Street. Crater agreed. At roughly 10:15 p.m., Fallon ushered him through the pub's tall revolving door and into obscurity. Inside Chumley's, the atmosphere was one of hushed intrigue. Candlelit tables, polished wood, and the low murmur of discreet conversation created a world apart from the city's bustle. Fallon ordered 2 cocktails and settled on a bar stool, glancing back at his friend's animated discussion of a high-stakes Queen's murder trial. He finished his drink, turned again, and found the seat empty. Confused, Fallon retraced his steps among narrow corridors and unlit corners. No one recalled seeing the judge leave. The Mercer Street exit stood closed. No force, no disturbance, no indication that he had ever existed there. Fallon phoned Ruby at midnight. Crater had not returned home. They assumed he'd lingered elsewhere, indulging a taste for fine spirits. But by breakfast, when Crater failed to appear at the courthouse, alarm rippled through legal circles. Headlines screamed, "NY Supreme Court Judge Missing." Police combed Chumley's and the surrounding blocks for footprints, fingerprints, any clue. Investigators examined Crater's parked Packard near the Waldorf Astoria, car intact, engine cold, briefcase on the passenger seat. His chambers lay silent, awaiting a verdict that would never be delivered. As days passed, theories surfaced with alarming speed. Had Crater absconded with embezzled funds? Bank records showed no unusual withdrawals. Had he been kidnapped by racketeers angered by his court rulings? No ransom demand materialized. Some journalists seized on unverified reports of clandestine affairs. Others alleged political retribution. Ruby maintained her composure, insisting she knew nothing beyond the parting kiss at Lafayette. Her steadfast testimony silenced tabloid fantasies, but did little to steer investigators toward truth. Mayor Jimmy Walker pledged every available resource to the search. Detectives canvassed speakeasies, questioned taxi drivers, even interviewed Crater's barber and grocer. The Board of Judges offered a $2,500 reward, equivalent to over $40,000 today, for information leading to Crater's whereabouts. Federal agents from the Department of Justice joined the hunt. Witnesses claimed to spot a tall man matching Crater's description near Central Park, Lower Broadway, even the Staten Island ferry terminal. Each sighting dissolved under scrutiny, leaving behind only frustration and fresh questions. Conjecture grew bolder with each passing week. Some proposed an underworld hit, with Crater's body dumped into the East River, hidden by swift currents. Others argued he fled voluntarily, escaped to South America under a new identity, shielded by Tammany connections. A lone theory suggested a fatal accident. Intoxicated, Crater might have fallen into an open construction shaft or beneath a passing train. Yet no body surfaced, and no worker recalled dragging a man from darkness. In January 1931, a Staten Island fisherman retrieved a pair of eyeglasses and a felt hat snagged in seaweed. Newspapers labeled them Craters, but tests proved otherwise. They belonged to a lodger lost months earlier. A barber in a downtown tenement claimed to have washed blood from floorboards. Investigators found no trace. A detective, tormented by the case's void, took his own life. By early 1932, initial fervor gave way to resignation. Files thickened, leads dried up, and headline writers moved on. Over the decades, Judge Crater achieved near-mythic status. His disappearance inspired pulp novels, magazine articles, and courtroom seminars on judicial security. In 1939, the FBI formally absorbed the case. Even J. Edgar Hoover later admitted defeat. Urban renewal projects erased Chumley's original entrance and Mercer Street's brooding alleys, replacing them with chic galleries and cafes. Yet tourists still photograph the modern club's facade, believing its walls echo with unanswered questions. Recent historians and amateur sleuths have revisited the Crater file. Advances in forensic science prompted analysis of bone fragments unearthed during a Hudson River excavation. DNA results remained inconclusive. Researchers poring over declassified embassy cables unearthed cryptic references to a disgraced jurist living incognito in Buenos Aires. But no documents definitively tied these mentions to Crater. Each new hypothesis illuminates facets of his life, yet leaves the core mystery intact. Judge Crater's story endures because it defies neat resolution. He was a man of principle who navigated backroom politics, a respected jurist who frequented illicit night spots, and a devoted husband whose absence plunged his bride into perpetual uncertainty. His life and disappearance reflect the paradoxes of Prohibition-era mystery. where glamour and corruption danced in equal measure under a single moon. Nearly a century later, we still ask, what happened to Joseph Force Crater? Was he a victim of foul play, an architect of his own flight, or a casualty of fate's cruel whim? The answer, if ever known, lies hidden in the city's forgotten crevices, beneath cobblestones, behind shuttered doors, and within the silent memories of those who witnessed that final night. Perhaps the greatest legacy of Judge Crater is this: some mysteries resist closure, reminding us that the search itself can be as compelling as any court decision. And so we keep asking, across generations, where is Joseph Crater? As if in that act of seeking, we honor both the judge and the enigma he became. If you enjoyed this journey, hit subscribe, share your theory below, and join us next time on Vault of Forgotten Mysteries, where the past is never quite finished.